Alright, so I did a quick save right before we had crashed and broke my engine, and just did a quick correction and managed to save my engine. So I flopped over on the ground, this time not breaking the engine, and since we now have ourselves a ship on the ground, on the Mun, I'm happy. So what we're going to do to take off, which you might be thinking, how the hell are you going to take off? RCS thrusters will not lift this thing. This thing is way too heavy. Oh, turn off kill rot. This thing is way too heavy to be lifted with RCS thrusters. It is just not going to happen. That's because this engine is huge and weight. But what we do is we use these landing legs, and we hit the throttle up, extend the landing gear, and then really throttle it up, and voila, we get into orbit. It's pretty freaking sweet. So I'm actually going the wrong way. I mean, I guess it doesn't technically matter, and it's probably going to cost me more fuel to turn to 90 now than it would have been to just keep going to 270, especially since it has a lower gravity effect, but whatever. Here we are, getting our apoapsis up, and once we get it up just to about I'm probably aiming for around 20k. Oh no, you want to be at least 50k out for the atmosphere. Now I remember. And I'm on a horrible inclination because I'm just doing this terrifyingly bad. But here we are. And there we go. About 50k. So let's warp ourselves up there. Okay, so I just double checked the recording to make sure I had it going on. We're gonna switch to the normal real quick. The normal is basically whatever is northish or perpendicular upwards of your plane. This is for plane correction that I'm doing right now, is to make it so that I get my correct flat plane back. It's not necessary really, but it makes it a little easier when you're going between orbits. Just a little. So anyways, let's get up to that apoapsis, and then we can start a burn. Now, let's take a look real quick. Where is Minimus? Minimus is actually in a good spot if I wanted to just straight burn, I think. I'm not quite sure the best way to get out of the orbit. I've slingshotted my way into the sun orbit from the Mun doing one of these slingshot trajectories. So I don't know. But there we are. So I'm just going to get my periapsis a little up. And then I'm going to, let's see, how do I want to burn this? I think I'm going to wait till I get, no, let's quick save. Again, I'm not an expert on interplanetary body orbital maneuvering, so quick saving is my friend. I have plenty of fuel left for the maneuvers. Ignore the full fuel tank from the glitching of quick saving and reloading. I only got 2 fuel tanks left. Oh, whoa. Alright, so I'm loading up a quick save because I did my burn, but I was talking and I ended up in the sun orbit. So let's not end up in the orbiting the sun. So we're gonna push out our thing, which is our apoapsis or apple key or whatever people call it. Okay, wow. So yeah, that's not quite what we want. I went way too far. So we're gonna turn this around and we are going to reverse until we get ourselves off a escape trajectory. And I'm starting to think that I really had no idea what I was doing when I I just saw the encounter. I really think I had no idea what I was doing, and by the way, that was my Skype that just went off. I'm going to go check that. Okay, back. So anyways, oh, dang it. This is really hard to catch that. Am I at ×2 or ×1? I'm at ×1. So I'm trying to catch the backside orbit because I have no idea how to do interplanetary orbits. There we are. That's not even a bad periapsis. So again, I like this version of the conic system because I see my encounter with it. I see exactly how it is. So I'm going to meet up there. The periapsis is like this, but as you can see, I actually have my exit around here of the planet because I'm actually going to flip on the back side of it if I don't kill my velocity. But anyways, so we're going to just time warp ourselves way the heck out there. Shouldn't take too long. Whee! I've also, on top of switching up the conic system, I've told it to predict further into the future. This is pretty important for actually getting these kind of crazy, really far out patch conics predictions. I think I have mine predicting 4 times further into the future than it is stock. So if you're using the stock, it might not work. Or it might not work to show you the intersection at that far of a distance. So, and our thing is gone now, which makes me worry, but we'll hope that the intersection still paths up. I feel that I'm going to end up passing it before it gets into its thing. Yeah, so I'm going to retrograde burn and cancel out my velocity a little and see if that doesn't help. And again, I have completely no idea what I'm doing. Oh, now I know why. Okay, so I'm actually going to go anti-normal real quick, and I'm going to correct my planar and make it so I actually intersect the goddamn planet's orbit, or moon orbit, or whatever it is. And okay, so I have no idea how much I've screwed up my orbiting now. I still think I'm going too fast, so I'm still going to retrograde burn more of this speed off. Okay, so still not going into the orbit. This is just going horribly wrong. I really should have just used McJeb. McJeb knows what it's doing. Alright, so I can definitely tell that it is a velocity issue, so I'm just going to kill my velocity and hope that, yep, there we go. Okay, so it was just a velocity issue. I was just going too fast to actually get caught up in the sphere. So here we are. We're going to have a nice periapsis of about... Oh wow, we can get ourselves good periapsis with this. So maybe this horrible thing overall was just like a stroke of genius and I'm a mad genius or something. Anyways, it looks like I'm going to go in towards a polar orbit. That could be fun. Yeah, sure, why not? I'm going to try a polar orbit. So, okay, here we are. Yeah, this is where the real space starts getting confusing with the orbital trajectories and such. Oh, okay, way too fast warp. Let's go retrograde. And we are going to burn and get all of our velocity gone. This is going to end up with a really awkward orbit, I can tell. This isn't even going to be a freaking polar orbit. This is going to be some psychotic, like Saturn's ring orbit. So, okay, so we got 2,000 periapsis over there. So let's get ourselves over to that side and shrink our periapsis down on the other side. Or actually, do we want to put the satellite in first orbit? Yeah. So let's see. Let's try to get this to a polar orbit. I have no idea how to get this into a polar orbit. If that's the orbital plane of the moon, how do I... Okay, so that's flat. Oh man, this is really confusing. So let's see. We need to go more every direction but the orbit we're really in. So let's go the normal. This is where McJebs really helps out, because McJebs just knows what to do to get to like normals and anti-normals for correcting orbits and such. So let's see. Okay, so that actually gets us into a interesting. So okay, not sure what's happening with my orbit here, but that looks really cool. I am just wasting fuel now. Got no idea what kind of orbit I am doing. Pretty sure I'm not even doing a real orbit now. Actually, that's starting to look like it's actually going polar. Oh my god, is this actually going to get me into a proper polar orbit? I'm burning so much fuel. I might actually have to use the emergency RCS lander to get myself back, which is why it was actually built. It was, oh no, I have an entire tank full of fuel still. Jesus. As I said, this thing, in the design video, this thing is completely over-engineered for the mission that it's supposed to be on. Oh, I just totally bypassed that, so we're going to rotate around one more time. Bypassed it again. Alright, ooh, okay, so now that we're at the periapsis, retrograde, I'm going to put this into a tight orbit. Why? Because I can, and because I want to land from it. So we're going to put it into like a, I don't know, let's go with a super tight orbit because we can. We're going to do a 20 kilometer orbit. 20 kilometers, come on. Ah! This is going to be probably impossible to get to 20 kilometers exactly. Well, actually, it's starting to look like it almost might go to 20 kilometers by itself. Okay, so that's like 20 kilometers perfect. Alright, so I'm happy with that. So, now we are going to warp down there at 1,000 times speed. It should cut our warping sometime by itself. Yeah, there we go. It went to 50 by itself. Alright, so once we get to the periapsis, which is like now, and I'm just letting mechanical Jeb pretty much have its way with the controls. Switching into retrograde, I know how to do these burns, so I don't feel obligated to do every burn by hand. In terms of lining up my progrades and retrogrades. So here we are, shrinking the orbit. Ooh, that one's getting shrunk too. So let's go over to the apoapsis one. And we'll, from our apoapsis, we'll bump up the other one to 21. I don't know why, but it seems easier to increase an orbit circularization rather than to decrease the orbit. It might actually have a technical reason, but I don't know it. So, I don't know why it's so skittish on when we're actually reaching the Apple key. There we are. So, 21. Okay, so it just flip-flopped instantly, but look at that. We're only 1/10 of a kilometer out. That's 100 meters. That's nothing at all. That's the football field worth of distance, basically, between the two orbits. So, we're in a super tight orbit now. Probably could have gotten much tighter, but this is close. This is a very close orbit. So, now our next attachment is actually our forward-facing satellite in our staging. So, we are going to spin it up again. Spin, 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 spin. Add some RCS to get ourselves spinning faster. Well, that's going to destabilize the satellite probably. And then we will launch it. And then we will stabilize ourselves with SAS. And then we are going to go back. Whoops. Ooh, did not mean to hit the satellite. There you go, satellite. Go on your own. I hope I didn't degrade its orbit by that horrifyingly bad spinning technique. Let's see. Let's take a look at that satellite's orbit. Yeah, I can already tell that the orbit got degraded a little bit due to my being crazy. Let's see. So we got an Apple key, or a periapsis of 21 and an Apple key of 28. So actually, no, they stayed in pretty good thing, despite the fact that this satellite is now forever going to be spinning like a madman. Wonder if that will cause any issues in the future. Find out later. Alright, so let's get back to our main command pod. Alright, so our satellite's off there spinning. We're going to switch around to retrograde. Let's see. We don't really actually have any good ice lakes to land on in our current orbit. And I'm particularly fond of them. So, I'm going to go to, I believe if I burn at 90 degrees, I think that should be our normal, which should tilt us, if I'm correct. And if all this wordage I'm using to you guys sounds really strange, it's because I kind of hear it from other people, and I like using it because it sounds cool. So, retrograde, and we are going to get ourselves trying to land on that little ice lake right there. And looks like it should be a pretty easy success. And voila, should land directly center into the ice lake. So let's warp. Oh, and actually, before we warp, let's kill everything and quick save, because I've had plenty of crashes. So quick saving, and let's get ourselves going there. That does not look like an ice lake. I thought I was landing on an ice lake. Oh, I'm an idiot. I was going the opposite direction. Well, okay, so guess what? We're not landing on an ice lake. Instead, we're landing on the mountains, because we're men, and men like to land on mountains. Actually, it's because I have no idea what I was doing and didn't pay attention. But no, we're gonna play it off as men. So, anyways, burn off most of our or our horizontal velocity, I should say. And then we are going to just use the kill rotation feature and get ourselves set up for vertical. And then let's go land. It looks like actually out of all the spots, we picked a rather decent spot to land. It's relatively flat looking. I'm sure it's not perfectly flat, but it's flat enough that I don't think it's going to actually cause problems. And we're still on the light side, not too far from the dark side, but we're still there. And so I can see the planet now, or rather see it clearly, I should say. That's kind of how you know you're low. On Minimus, the heaviness of the nuclear engine is a lot less prominent, so you don't have to worry about your thrust as much. You have plenty of thrust. There's a satellite, and looks like we have a little orbital velocity. So, okay, I should be able to see the shadow soon. Yeah, woo. So this is actually a little steeper than I thought, now that I take a look at it. So, trying to kill off, ooh, wow. Even one notch on the thrust is enough to counteract the gravity of Minimus on this one. Oh, let's get our landing gear up into position. Oh! I actually bounced on the engine and the engine didn't break. That's a new one. Alright, so there we are. I don't know if my engine's broke yet. The kill rotation's actually keeping us upright, but I want to land like this. So, please don't explode anything. Alright, so we're good. We have successfully landed on the Mun, landed on Minimus, put a satellite into orbit around Kerbal, put a satellite into orbit around Minimus. Now the only thing is getting back. So again, same thing as last time. Step 1, one notch on the throttle. Step 2, extend the landing gear, and then turn it up. And should get us into a nice throttle. Going to use the kill rotation feature to act as advanced SAS. Get ourselves a little vertical momentum. It takes almost nothing to get off of the Minimus thing, and we're in a really, really eccentric orbit. I'm going to probably want to tilt north and just kind of launch myself back at the planet in the most obscene, ridiculous way possible. This again is not a fuel efficient maneuver that I'm doing. I only have one fuel tank left. Ignore those. Those are glitches. But I can do it because I have plenty of fuel in this thing, and I actually have enough RCS fuel on this guy to actually get me all the way back from either the moon or from Minimus. So we don't actually need to even bother with having the rocket fuel. So anyways, here we are, and there's our satellite doing its little orbit. We're about to reach Apple Key, and I am going to go north, not south, north, and I'm going to launch myself in a stupid orbit that hopefully will send me that way. So, alright, looks like it's corrected a little bit. Yeah, I think that's actually relatively good. Okay, that not so good. Alright, so we're gonna flip around until we're on the other side of the planet. And then once we're on the other side of the planet, we are going to do a burn from about here. Okay, I gotta get better with my timing on the time warp. Okay, so here we are. And once we get about here is when we're gonna do it about okay, so we're gonna go prograde. Again, I have no idea how to do these kind of maneuvers, and actually I'm gonna kill rotation real quick and angle us a little towards the planet, because I just realized that this is gonna send me on like some weird, not directly actually back at the Earth, and then I just realized that that's not actually how you do it. Whatever. So we're just going to completely waste fuel here to correct a mistake that we made, and then correct another mistake. Okay. So I just left the solar system again, because don't know what I'm doing. Okay. So here we are. Oh, whoops. Prograde a little more. So we want to get out of the what's it called? Out of Minimus sphere, and then we'll correct for getting to the planet later. So we're just going to go to the periapsis, and then we're going to counterburn. We have plenty of fuel left to do this. You're supposed to go to the Apple Key if you want to counterburn, but I'm not listening to common sense or logic while doing this. So here we are, getting out there. And almost there. Okay, so we're close enough. So we're gonna go retrograde again. Again, letting McJeb do all the hard, actually having to do anything work. And we are just handling the throttle. And we are just going to kill ourselves an orbit and send ourselves to the planet. And I'm gonna do a direct vertical descent because I can. So I'm actually going to kill all of my orbital speed that I can kill. And we're going to go on a straight intersect course to Kerbal Space Program place. Actually, I have no idea if we're actually going to hit the Kerbal Space Program, but that would be really awesome if we did. And I don't know why I'm not centered on my own vehicle, and I cannot remember how to center myself on my vehicle. Oh well. Oh, okay, that planet was coming up really fast. About had myself a heart attack. The last thing I want to do is on my last stage of my trip crash myself into the planet like I was literally just doing. Okay, so now we're at Kerbal. So we are just out about 500,000 kilometers and rapidly closing. Thanks to the lack of re-entry heat and any physics in general of the planet, we can pretty much do whatever we want. But let's be weirdos and let's try to see how much of our momentum we can cancel off with our remaining fuel. I don't think it's going to be much. Yeah, so I canceled off a good whole 100 meters a second. So yeah, that didn't do much. But anyways, thanks to atmospheric re-entry in its current state, we can just kind of crash ourselves into the atmosphere and air drag will take care of us and will kill our velocity. See how our velocity just starts to plummet as we get into the atmosphere. Once you're in about 500 meters, you can pop this off, let the engine fall, deploy the chute. I need to figure out a way of saving that engine on me. I forgot to what's it called, change the decoupler. You can just switch the order of the decouplation, and then that engine won't go into the water and destroy itself. Though actually it looks like it survived. It's all in one piece. Oh no, there it goes. So we didn't technically recover every piece in this setup. Booster should have recovered, second stage should have recovered, the engine there didn't recover because I forgot to flip the decoupler out of the first staging. But yeah, and so we're gonna kill our velocity a little bit, and my landing legs plopped off. So yeah, for some reason I was going really fast there, so I used my RCS thrusters to kill my landing velocity, but I am here. Kerbals are back. We are splashdown. If that would have been a hard landing, we probably would have died. But we had a nice splashdown landing. As you can see here, all of our stuff is splashed down on the planet, recoverable. We only have in orbit, all we have is our satellite right over here. Should be still nice and spinning. Oh, it lost its spin. Cheat. So they killed its spin for us because they're mean. Let's go over to the Mun. Oh, we didn't put orbit in the Mun this time. We put it into Minimus. Here we are on Minimus. Again, spin's gone. Still in that nice orbit. Beautiful scenery. So yeah, there you go. That is, according to me, the most advanced piece of Kerbal engineering in existence currently. Maybe it's not true. Maybe it is true, but as you can see, it is pretty impressive what we did. We have pretty much everything we could possibly want at this point, and I selected the landing gear. Really? Can I select the pod? I want the pod. Come on, give me my pod. Space Center. Active lights should have it there. There we go. Splashdown. So yeah, I've recovered all my stuff that I could, screwed up my engine, got everything. Good flight, end it, see what we got. Total distance traveled, 2,000 meters? Huh. I guess it has some not good flight stats if you switch between vehicles and saves. But anyways, there we are. A very nice, very clean space. I don't know what to do about the splashdown stuff. Don't know if it goes away after a time or something, but yeah. There's my debrisless combo launcher. Hope you guys like it. I'll put the save or the craft file for it in so people can take a look at it, and I'll include a non-McJeb version for people who don't want McJeb or don't have it. It does require the Nova Punch Pack though, so that's going to be mandatory. Anyways, talk to everyone later.